Hi, I'm Chelsea Clark with Natural Health Advisory Institute, and today I want to talk to you about keeping a headache journal. About 8 years ago, I began to experience very frequent migraine headaches, and they became so frequent I was getting them multiple times a week, if not every day. And one of the really important steps that I took in my treatment plan was to keep a headache journal. And a headache journal is a way for you to keep track of everything about your daily life, as well as your headaches and when you get them, in order to start to establish whether or not there are patterns associated with your headaches and maybe identify some triggers that might be causing your headaches. And this is really important because what causes migraines can be different for anyone. So that question is really hard to answer because the answer is really unique to each individual. So for some people, certain foods might trigger a headache, such as cheese or red wine. And for someone else, their headaches might be caused by high levels of stress or inadequate sleep. And a headache journal allows you to maybe identify some of those triggers. And in a headache journal, you'll keep track of how long you sleep, if you are stressed, what you eat and drink every day, what the weather might be like, and everything else that might end up being associated with your headaches. So I want to walk you through how I kept a headache journal to identify some patterns for myself. And I have two examples here of what a headache journal might look like. And the first one is what I kept because I got headaches so often. I got them multiple times a week. So I decided to keep a log of every day, whether or not I got a headache, how much I slept, what I ate and drank, and so on. And so this is what my headache journal looked like. I printed this out large, but usually I would print them out small and keep track of every day. I had one for every day. So this is an example for Monday, and I would keep track of the date, what time I woke up, what time I fell asleep, and my sleep quality. And that was important for tracking how well I slept and how much I slept every day. And then I had this grid here that kept track of throughout the day my pain level, my energy level, and my mood. And so at 9 a.m., 1 p.m., 5 p.m., and 9 p.m., I would rate my pain, my energy, and my mood from 0 to 10. And that allowed me to see patterns throughout each day. If my pain started to peak at a certain time, or if my energy started to go down in the evenings, for example. And then I had a large area for notes about the morning and notes about the afternoon and evening. And so for each of those sections, I would write everything I could think of, from what I ate and when I ate it, if I exercised, if I was stressed out, certain activities I did that were out of the ordinary, or anything like that. And I kept this a lot, mostly during college. So in the afternoon, evening times, I would have, for example, stressed out studying for my exam tomorrow, or had to stay up late writing a paper. So those are some examples of what you might include in there, as well as definitely what foods you ate, when you ate them, and so on. If you don't get headaches quite so often, if you get migraines maybe more like once or twice a month or something a little less frequently, you might want to try something that looks a little bit more like this. This grid style, instead of keeping a log of every single day, whether or not you have a headache, you can keep track of just those days when you get a headache. So each row on something like this would correspond to a day you had a headache. And you can keep track of the date, your sleep time and your sleep quality, if you exercised and what kind of exercise, all the food and drink that you had leading up to the headache, and probably including the day before is a good idea. Details about that headache, the severity, the duration, when it started, how long it lasted, and then additional notes such as if you were stressed out, if you took any medications or supplements, if there were any changes in the weather. Sometimes people have headaches when weather patterns change. If you had any emotional events, anything like that you find important. And that will allow you then to look at those days that you have a headache and see if that they're associated with anything such as lack of sleep or a certain food that you ate that day. So this can allow you to find certain patterns that might be associated with your headaches and that might be unique to you. For me, I was able to find that when I exercised more and I exercised more regularly, I tend to get less headaches, as well as I need to sleep regularly and have a regular sleep schedule, and that helps me to get less frequent headaches. And although this didn't allow me to completely get rid of all of my headaches, it allowed me to feel a little bit more control over my symptoms and vary my lifestyle a little bit to help myself get my headaches a bit more under control.